I'm gonna run the countdown. Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafit, along with my good friend, Artemis Brower. Artie,
yo,
how's it going, brother?
We're good, man. We're doing it. It's been a long week, back and forth. The usual. So this was my week to go into the office this week. So back and forth with the commute, but it's been a good week. Got a lot done. Thankfully, I got tomorrow off, and I'm excited to be back on the podcast. I missed last week, and I hate that I had to miss last week, but I'm back, and we're gonna get right into it this week. So how about yourself, man? How you doing, brother?
It's a crazy. I don't know. I just feel like everything's crazy right now. I mean, it's that time of year where things start speeding up for me at work quite a bit.
Yeah,
we're getting into the we're getting ready for the holiday season. If you don't know, I'm in marketing, so it's insane.
It's busy for finance too, brother.
But
busy for finance too.
Everybody wants to get their marketing ads set up and going. So yeah, it's just wild. I'm going to the beach tomorrow night before going to the game on Saturday.
Nice.
So got a lot of things I got to do. Got to take young Ficklin to the boarding kennels tomorrow. Get him ready for that. We got to pack my daughter's stuff, our stuff. We still aren't packed. Just a lot going on, man. Like, I don't know. I got to work even after editing tonight. I'm gonna have to work late. So it's just one of those. It's just one of those times, man.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining at all. I'm very blessed, but I will say it is very stressful in the Shafit household right now.
Hey, look, if we weren't built for it, we wouldn't be put in this situation. So.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, Artie, number 67. This is episode 167.
67.
Do you have a 67?
I'm gonna let you go first, man. You know, I just got back into the crib, so I'm trying to piece everything together. You go ahead with your 67.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go Hurricanes legend. And I say that meaning he played 5 games for the Hurricanes. None other than Max Pacioretty.
Okay.
I mean, he's had a long career. I mean, he still came into the league in the 08-09 season. So he's played 10 years or 15 years in the league. Dealt with some injuries. Most notably, I mean, he tore his Achilles last year. He got traded to the Hurricanes last year. Tore his Achilles during training camp. Came back, played 5 games, and then retore his Achilles.
Yeah.
So he needs to be on whatever Aaron Rodgers is on, because Aaron Rodgers seems to know what's up.
Hey, look, there's a conspiracy theory out there. Aaron Rodgers might not be that hurt though. He might have faked that injury for the clout. But you know, as a Bears fan, maybe I'm just hating. But there's
a
Bears theory out there. I'm just saying. Nobody heals from an Achilles injury that quick. Nobody.
I don't know, man. He's taking some kind of I don't know. Look, it's insane.
He's taking drugs.
Like if he's going to like Russia and getting on the crazy medicine. They're just injecting him with all kinds of blood and all kinds of stuff. I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers, he's doing some weird shit, but hey, I don't blame him. You know.
Nice.
But yeah, Max Pacioretty. I mean, he's an elite goal scorer, but overall, I mean, he's never won anything other than, I mean, he won the Masterton Trophy a while back, but that's not really about what you do on the ice. It's more about what you do off the ice and coming back. I believe that's the comeback player of the year, basically, in the NHL. That's really the only hardware he has, surprisingly.
Yeah.
He was a captain of the of the Canadians. He played for Vegas, got traded in a salary dump to Carolina last year. Now I believe he's signed a free agent deal with the Capitals. Hasn't played yet this season. So, yeah, I mean, Max Pacioretty, that's my 67.
Love it. Love it. I will go ahead and throw one in here. And look, I'm going to keep naming offensive linemen till Will swell off at this point. Because I got another old lineman this week. Number 67, blocked for O.J. Simpson. It's O.J. Simpson for Buffalo. God bless. What is this man's name? I just lost his name. This is why you can't do live.
Walk the damn plank, Artie.
This is why you can't do live podcast. I don't see his first name, but I know it's McKenzie. My stuff froze on me. But he was a lineman for the Buffalo Bills, blocked for O.J. Simpson, part of the famed Electric Company. Have no idea what the Electric Company is, but that's what the website is telling me. I'm guessing that's a very great historic offensive line group. So shout out to him, number 67, old lineman for the Buffalo Bills. But speaking of old lineman, did you hear what Dan Orlovsky said on First Take a few days ago about Jason Kelce?
I did not.
He said he's the most important non-quarterback player in the NFL. Like outside of the quarterback position, Jason Kelce is like the most important player in the NFL.
What?
And I just thought that was absolutely absurd. Now he's great. He's Jason Kelce is the first ballot Hall of Famer. First ballot Hall of Famer. Not even a question.
I mean,
the most important player in the NFL outside of the quarterback position, I don't know about that.
They'll let anybody into the NFL Hall of Fame, it seems like.
No, that's not true, man. That's not true.
Come on now.
That's not true.
It seems like you play 10 years in the league. All right, you're in the
Hall. Like, come on now. Don't do that, Jay. Don't do that.
I just feel like.
So you saying Jason Kelce's not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I'm not saying he's not, but I'm just saying I don't know, like I feel like in other leagues.
So who's gotten in that you don't think should be in? You can't say that and not name names. You got to name drop if you think it's rigged.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's rigged. I just think that there's too many people in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Come on, man. You got to name
overall.
Drop.
I just overall think that there's too many people in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Now the opposite can be said for the MLB. There's some names not in it that need to be in there.
Well, yeah, I agree. That's kind of what I kind of look at look. I've always said I'm a NHL MLB fan before I'm an NFL fan. There's a bunch of people that have been snubbed in getting into the NHL and MLB Hall of Fame, which makes me think that it should be extremely hard to get into the Hall of Fame when I see some of these guys in the NFL that get into the Hall of Fame and it's like, did they really have like that great of a career?
Consistency, baby. Consistently great.
Put Rod Brindamore in the Hall of Fame. Dale Murphy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. That's all I got to say, Artie. All I got to say.
No arguments from me.
All right. Boneyard Podcast is proud to be members of the Variety Sports Podcast Network, Variety Sports Collegiate. Make sure to check them out. We're live right now on Variety Sports, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Check them out. Go like, subscribe, follow, do all that. 5-Hole Podcast, which your boy is going to be leading, starts next week. We've got it's been a crazy time for me and Brandon, my co-host on that. Go check it out. Follow, subscribe right now. We're gonna be coming out. I believe we're gonna record on Monday or Tuesday night of next week. Check if you want to see like, hey, when we're gonna do it. If you're interested in following the NHL and the VSN Hockey Podcast, listening to your boy again, follow me at Jared_Shafit and then at VSN Collegiate, and I believe it's _Variety Sports. Do all that. I see we have a comment. Canes by 2. Damn right. Canes play at 10:30 tonight, so it's gonna.
What West Coast team are they playing tonight?
Seattle.
Okay. Okay.
Seattle. All right. Let's talk let's talk SMU.
Let's go ahead and get out of the way.
All right. We can run through some of the stats. What I'm going to say though is overall ECU defense played a game, and I feel like we've said this every single week.
Yeah.
ECU's defense played so well that the offense should have been able to figure out a way to win a game.
You're singing the same song, brother. You're singing the same song.
Like, considering ECU held SMU to basically the same statistics on offense that they had, and then still lost by 3 touchdowns. Come on now. I don't know. I mean, SMU had a 50% completion rating or completion percentage, 19 for 39. ECU, 18 for 39. The straw that broke the camel's back, ECU threw a pick 6. ECU had more first downs, 15 to 14. More rushing yards, 97 to 58. And outpossessed the ball by 9 minutes. And you still lost by 3 touchdowns?
Jared, just think about 4 of the 5 games that we've lost. And think about where we were going into the fourth quarter. App State, Marshall, Rice, SMU. Where was the game going to the fourth quarter? Was it a blowout going to the fourth quarter?
No.
Or was it very much within reach? Very much a winnable game going into the fourth quarter.
ECU could very well be 5-1 right now if they knew how to play in the damn fourth quarter.
Every single one of those games going into the fourth quarter, ECU had a legitimate chance to put something together. You've been anemic on offense the whole game, and you still got a chance to put something together to win this football game, and you don't do it. You don't do it.
I mean, I don't know, Artie. Like, honestly, we should get rid of the no quarter. Like, why are we even playing it? No quarter means, hey, this is going to be like the quarter we stand up and we do a damn thing. ECU hasn't done a damn thing in the fourth quarter all season long. And it's brutal to watch. And they make these mistakes and they can't get out of their own way sometimes. Look.
Let me ask you this. Is this the worst ECU offense that you've ever witnessed?
Yes.
Thank you. Bar none. Not even close. Not even close.
I think I said this last week on the podcast. This might be the worst ECU team as a whole that I've watched.
Yeah.
There's no fight.
I mean, even with those Scotty Moe teams, I don't remember starting 1-5. I mean, we had at least 2 wins under our belt at that point in the season. Now we finished 3-9, right? But I don't remember a 1-5 start. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I don't remember a 1-5 start.
Look, if this team can figure out how to play in the second half, play in the fourth quarter, if this team can get anything going at all on offense, there's a chance for this team. Maybe not to get bowl eligible this year, but they can prove something the back half of this year. We're halfway through the season. They still have a ton to prove.
Well, I mean, the problem is obvious, and it's twofold, right? It is a lack of play calling from the offense. And now we're starting to get all these other outlets and media, personalities saying the same thing that we've been saying for weeks, months, couple years, is that it is a predictable, boring, stagnant, non-moving offense. That's number one. And then number two, because I know a lot of people got on Twitter after the game and were saying, oh, why'd you take Mason out? Mason was giving us the best chance to win. Why'd you put Alex Flynn in? Was Mason really giving us the best chance to win? Outside of running the rock pretty well, was he actually giving us the best chance to win? Because I feel like we're in a situation where we have 2 quarterbacks and neither one of them give us the best chance to win, in my honest opinion. Neither one gives us the best chance to win. So if you're going to sit here and call, or why did you put Alex Flynn in? Was Mason really giving us the best chance to win that football game? Truthfully.
I think so. On last Thursday night, if you asked me last Thursday night who gave us the best chance to win the football game, I was telling you Mason Garcia.
Well, then that means we would have to pound the rock every single play to try and win that football game. I mean, Mason putting that ball in the air was not going to happen.
Once again, he was 12 for 26. Yeah, it's not setting the world on fire, but still, I mean, pretty decent. He had a good connection with Chase Sowell. I mean, overall, I mean, I would say that having Mason in there, he gave you different options. And the thing with Mason, and we saw it a little bit last week, was when Mason can get outside the pocket and can get his feet moving and have some time to throw the ball, he can be pretty good.
Right. And it's not all Mason and it's not all Flynn, because that O-line is not doing anything they're supposed to be doing. We do have.
You don't talk about anemic. That O-line is anemic.
We gotta mention the O-line. They're not playing well whatsoever.
So all. I would say the bad, the good. Look, Chase Sowell, he's my player of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, him. The defense stood tall. Those are my goods. Bad, offensive line. Still couldn't really get Rajay, Marlon Gunn. I mean, you lose. Who went down early in the game?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, you lose.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Javius Bond. I don't know.
Thank you, Josh.
I don't know why I was blanking on Javius Bond, but for some reason I don't know who I was thinking of, but not Javius Bond. But you haven't been able to get a running back going all game. I think that game's a lot different if you've got Javius Bond in there. Yeah. I think that you're able to do a couple more things, right? He's kind of replaced Keen Mitchell as that explosive back. Granted, you can't be explosive when you're running up the middle on first and second down every damn time, right? So who knows? I would say bad offensive line and just some poor decision making, right? Like there was just some. Once again, there's times where we're swapping out quarterbacks. I don't know.
And to that point, though, the poor decision making comes from a lack of confidence. It comes from a lack of knowing when they're going to be in and out the game. Yeah. If you look at the body language of Mason Garcia and Alex Flynn, they're always looking to the sideline. They're always looking a little confused because they don't know when they're going to be yacked. Like, they don't know when they're going to get pulled and they're going to be riding the bench for the rest of the game. And that is what we spoke to a few weeks ago, that at this point, you have to just ride with one. You got to go ahead and make that decision. We're 1-5. All right. You're not doing nothing that is working. This 2-quarterback system, I don't want to hear that. It ain't working. You got to roll with one. You got to try and let them build their confidence. And you just got to roll. You just got to go with it. You literally just got to go with it. And I will say the more athletic quarterback is Mason Garcia. So I would roll with the more athletic quarterback, even though I think Flynn has a better arm. I would roll with Garcia. And that's it. Garcia is the guy. I don't care if we finish 1-11. You have to be able to establish something, because the team itself, there's no confidence. There's no rhythm. There's no flow. They don't know who their quarterback is. They don't know who's going to be out there play calling, who's going to be the signal caller. And these guys are confused because they can get yacked at any point in time. At this point in the season, for the love of God, roll with one guy. Let him play from start to finish. Let him succeed on his own. Let him fail on his own. Let him go from start to finish. Because what you're doing is not working. Clearly, it ain't working.
Yeah, I mean, ECU's got to figure it out. They've got to figure it out. Bad. The offensive line, like I said, bad decision making. Ugly. The ugliest thing I've seen all season, Artie, is ECU deciding to punt on 4th and 6. Or it may have been even shorter. It may have been 4th and 5. Look, I get you're on your own side of the field. You punt down a touchdown with 6 minutes left, basically giving up the game with the new clock rules. That's bullshit.
But that speaks to not having any confidence in your offense. The reason why they punted that ball is because they did not believe they could pick up 6 yards whatsoever. They did not think they could pick up 6 yards. That's why they punted the ball. They had no faith that they could pick up 6 yards. Now, granted, should you go for it? Yeah, you play to win the game. But there was no confidence whatsoever that they could pick up 6 yards on that play.
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know. And to answer your question, ECU did go 1-6 in 2017 before they beat BYU at home. Yeah, it's brutal.
Remember how dark that was. Remember how dark them times were.
I mean, that was the year we lost to JMU.
Whew.
That was the year we lost. We lost to JMU that year. Artie, I don't want to talk much more about it. I'm over the game. I watched it that night. Listened to some good podcasts on my way home from the game. Watched it, laughed, cried a little bit. It's over.
Yeah.
Right. This hasn't been the season that we've wanted. We're halfway through. I'm already looking. Surprisingly, we talked about it last week. I'm already looking to basketball season.
Isn't that crazy?
Like,
isn't that crazy? You looking forward to what? ECU basketball? What? But that's where we are. That is the state of.
Shout out ECU volleyball got another dub tonight.
Yeah.
ECU soccer still on the up and up. I mean, baseball's only 5 months away.
I think that's what everybody in Greenville's like. Hey, look, just wait till baseball. just wait till we have something actually to cheer about. So.
All right, Artie, let's turn the tide. All right, we're watching it. SMU is in the rear view. Like it was honestly just ECU just always gets my hopes up, and then for whatever reason somehow finds a way to crush my hopes every single week. Every week going into the fourth quarter, I'm like, oh, we can do this, and then we just don't.
Yeah.
So all right, moving on. Let's talk Charlotte. Charlotte coming in, new American members, right?
Yeah.
Charlotte's coming into the American, gonna make their first trip ever to Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. Artie, what's your thoughts on Charlotte?
Man, oh man. The Sickos committee is gonna love this game. Sickos are gonna love this game.
This game's gonna end.
All I gotta say right now.
This game's gonna end 2-0 with the winning score being a safety.
The Sickos are gonna love this game. Look, I will say about Charlotte though. I didn't know that they haven't lost a game this season by more than 3 touchdowns. So they've been in a lot of the games, right? And they've played some stiff competition. And we'll get into all that. But I see SMU, Florida, Maryland on their schedule that they lost to, but they didn't lose any of those teams by more than 3 touchdowns, right? So I mean they've lost. They've looked a lot like ECU at times, where they've been in these games and they just don't know how to finish, don't know how to win. And it's gonna be interesting. Pair of 1 and 5 teams, and truthfully, anybody can win this game. This is the most toss up games ever. So,
all right. Well, let's bring our guest on tonight. We've got Jeremy Grandison coming onto the podcast. Jeremy from the Highway 49 podcast. Jeremy, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Perfect. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No problem. Excited to have you on. Excited to talk about this homecoming matchup, ECU Charlotte. Thanks for joining us. I know it was kind of on short notice. First off, talk to us about your head coach.
It's late, sporting the do-rag. Hope you guys are cool with that. But
you're good.
But talking about Biff, man, I was talking about this. We recorded an episode of Highway 49 earlier to preview this game, and we're talking. And at Biff's introductory press conference, he comes out and says, "We're going to win the AAC. That's our one goal." And when you set the standard that high, and then you're 1-5 now, it's understandable why fans are getting upset, right? Because I think every excuse that he had, he threw out the window during that introductory press conference where he's saying, we're not rebuilding. He said, we're not reshaping, we're not rebuilding, we're not going to go through a couple years of retooling. He's saying we're going to win now. And that's not the results that Charlotte fans have been wanting or seeing. And I will say this about Biff, though. He's transparent. He's going to give it to you the same way he's going to give it to anybody else. That guy is going to tell you how it is right to your face. But at times that can be at a detriment. At times that might not be the best thing. And I think he's finally realizing in this conference, after the Georgia State presser, you could finally see like, whoa, okay. I think he's finally realizing that you don't just join a team and bring some transfers over from Michigan and you're going to win immediately. That's not how it works. It's not how college football works. And I think he's here for the long haul, and I think he's finally realizing, okay, this is going to be a little harder than I initially thought.
Now, Jeremy, obviously Biff came in hot, right? He came in, Wills, guns a-blazing, came in hot. But what are some realistic expectations that you think Biff Foley can do here at Charlotte? Do you think he can actually turn this program around? And do you think the fan base will kind of warm up to him if he can do that?
You know what? I'm optimistic about this. And this is not me as an alum. I didn't go to Charlotte. I'm just covering the school. I'll say that Biff made his name. He went to Duke. He became a businessman, multi-millionaire. And the thing about Biff is he can talk and persuade. And in the current college landscape, it's all about NIL. It's all about money. It's all about what can you offer these players that's not just playing time. And 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it was, hey, we can offer you the running back one position, or we can offer you to start immediately at our school. That's not going to cut it anymore, which is actually plays in Biff's favor. I think he's got a lot of connections. He'll be able to garner that money that Charlotte has been needing to try and get these players. But I heard you guys talking about it earlier. I mean, Charlotte's defense is pretty good. The Niners have Coach Ryan Osborne, defensive coordinator. He was at Michigan before this. He was at the Baltimore Ravens before this. This guy loves football. Whenever I talk to him, whenever I interview him, he just loves to talk about the X's and O's. He's all about that. So on one side of the ball, you're set. You have players like Yabi Oki, you have Nakai Hill-Green, you have Stone Handy, some experienced players that can really burst into the backfield and get tackles for losses and put pressure on the quarterback consistently. However, what can you do on offense? And I think that's where the main issue is going to be. I interviewed him after the Navy game in the post-game press conference, and he told me, he said, we don't have any erasers on this team. An eraser being 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, throw it up to someone, that wide receiver can go get it, or that running back can make two men miss and go get that first down. They don't have any of that. So I think we're going to see him going to try and get some erasers in this offseason. But I have the utmost confidence in him, not just because of who he is, but because we've seen his success at other places before, and I think that he can replicate that at Charlotte.
Yeah, for sure. And last week, I mean, you gave up Charlotte gave up 250 some yards, I believe it was, to Navy. That's ECU fans know that's not an easy offense to stop. Granted, this year they've got a new head coach. It's still the same triple option, same thing every year. Talk to us a little bit about playing that game for the first time and what you saw last week against the Midshipmen.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, the triple option. Tuesday's press conference leading into the Navy game, I asked Coach Ryan Osborne about the triple option, and he said, hey, we're not going to practice with a ball. We're practicing without a ball because triple option, you never know what's going to happen. Everybody has a job. If your job is to cover the dive, cover the dive. If your job is to cover the sweep, the guy running, cover the sweep. If your job is to cover the quarterback, cover the quarterback. The second you try to cover the dive and then cover something else is where Navy gets you. I think Charlotte went in with a good game plan. I mean, Navy, you said it, they didn't have that much success against that Charlotte defense. You know, you saw that couple big plays here and there that made that score 14-0, but for the most part, Charlotte's defense played really well. They got in the backfield. They had a lot of tackles for losses. I just think that if you're a defense and you're out there working your butt off and you get to the bench finally, you force a stop, and your offense gets a 3 and out, and you're right back on the field, at some point, that dam's going to break. That dam's going to crack. And we saw that. A couple cracks is all it takes for Charlotte to lose these games because the offense simply can't put enough points on the board to, keep this defense healthy and fresh every time they go out there.
Now, Jeremy, I'm affectionately calling this game the Booty Bowl because this is a battle between 2 1-5 teams. But outside of the defense playing well, what are some other positives, if anything, that you've seen from the offensive side of the ball for Charlotte?
I'll be honest with you, Artemis. There's not many. I will say special teams. Greg Froelich, the special teams coordinator, has been doing a stellar job the past few weeks. UF was one of the best return teams, and they were able to kind of stifle that UF special teams on punt returns, kick returns. But on offense, that QB carousel is the number one problem. I mean, Trexler Ivy and Jalen Jones, if you don't know who your quarterback is, week in and week out, we ask the same. I know you guys have the same thing, right?
It sounds so familiar.
Week in and week out, I mean, we ask Coach, hey, what's the deal with the quarterbacks? Are you going to commit to one? What do you see with each? And every time we're going to keep running with both of them. We're going to switch them out whenever we think we have a good look with one or the other. Now, Trexler is more of a pro-style drop-back quarterback, but that makes him susceptible to a lot of sacks. Charlotte has taken, I think, the second most sacks in the conference with – I have the stat up here, man. This is crazy to me. Let me find it here. 32 sacks allowed in 6 or 7 games for 190 yards. I mean, this guy is – and the sacks aren't 4 or 5 yard sacks. They're 11-yard sacks, 12-yard sacks. And it puts them in terrible down and distance situations. And then for the wide receivers, I mean, we can egg on the quarterbacks all we want. The wide receivers aren't getting separation consistently or even at all. Jack Estera's been out for a little bit. Jairus Mack had a good game in one of the openers, but it's not consistent. So I just think as a whole, it's looking pretty bleak. And to finish it off, your true freshman star running back that commits to Charlotte on ESPN on national television is out for the season in Darrell Robinson. So at this point, I think they're just trying to pick up scraps and see what they can get. I mean, it's interesting being in this industry because you hear the coaches talking about the same or regurgitating the same exact talking points week in and week out. We're almost there. We're so close. Like
we had a real good week of practice.
We had a really good week of practice. We were able to watch film and we think we got some things down. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And it gives you enough just to hold you to that game. And then the cycle starts all over again. Jared, talk to me because I can see your face right now, man.
I mean, this is just ECU on a loop. Like,
yeah.
Us.
I mean, every single week it's guys really practice hard this week.
Really hard. Great practice.
Excited about
going up against a great opponent.
Excited to get in front of our rowdy fans in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Like, it's the same thing every single week. Every single week. They got a good football team. Yeah, well, it's football at the FBS level. Everybody has a good football team.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how are you preparing differently for this matchup?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we watch film, and well, the film doesn't matter when the film you're watching is you're running it up the gut on first and second down for a total of 2 yards, and then you're sitting at 3rd and 8, and now we got to figure out how can we get the ball 9 yards when our offense can't do shit.
That's a great point, man. That Navy game, it was run, pass, run, pass, run, pass, and you're seeing yourself in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 situations over and over again. And at some point, it's like Trexler Ivy on 3rd and 10 is not going to be able to make a play with his legs if you need him to. And it's the same thing over and over again, man.
I typically don't keep track of this stat because it typically doesn't matter, and it's not something that is outstanding, like blatantly in your face. In the first half last week against SMU, I believe it took more than 5.5 minutes for either team to get a first down.
Wow.
And then it took 7 minutes in the second half for either team to get a first down. And you can't do that. I mean, you've got to be able to get positive yardage on those early downs, so that way you're leaving yourself with 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 at worst, right? If you can get 2 or 3 yards on 1st and 2nd down each, you're getting yourself really close to being there, right?
I'll say that it's so easy to just say that, right? I mean, the offensive coordinators, Mike Miller, the offensive coordinator for Charlotte, he's saying the same things in the press conferences. Hey, we just got to make it easy in the first couple downs to put ourselves in a favorable down and distance situation. We want to be on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Let's say you have an 8-yard run, right, from Charlotte, or you have a great – Charlotte loves the tight end screen. So Colin Weber gets a good tight end screen, 8 yards, 9 yards on 1st down. Trexler Ivy takes a 12-yard sack. And you're right back to where you didn't want to be. And
that or you get called for a false start or a holding because your offensive line can't put together 2 slices of sandwich bread, much less a block. I mean,
I will say this though, Jalen Jones in that UF game, he impressed me. I mean, I'm watching that game. I was at the UF game. And I thought this was going to be UF comes out to a 10-0 start, and I'm thinking Charlotte might not get to the 50-yard line. Trexler Ivy's taken 14-yard sacks, 13-yard sacks. And I don't want to dump on Trexler too much because Trexler has shown the ability before, not consistently, but he can make those throws. He can sit in the pocket and deliver a strike when he needs to sometimes. But Jalen Jones, he went into that UF game. He was able to show his dual threat quarterback abilities. And I don't think UF game plan for that because anytime he used his legs, something good happened for the Niners. I don't know if that's replicable. We haven't seen him do that since that UF game. But Hunter Bailey, as you guys might know him, we are in the press box watching this game at Navy. First drive of the game, we see Jalen Jones lining up at wide receiver for the Niners. At wide receiver. He's a quarterback. Yeah. And we're saying, what's going on? And we asked coach in the postgame, hey, why is your fringe starting quarterback playing wide receiver? And he said, we need him out there. He's one of our best playmakers. So why isn't he playing quarterback? Why is he at wide receiver trying to have wide receiver screens? I just don't get it. I don't get paid the big bucks to make these decisions, but I think we're in the same boat here, ECU and Charlotte supporters.
I guarantee when you watch this game, and I don't know if you're going to be at the game or not.
I will be
on Saturday. If so, come up to me after the first half, and let's try to figure out how many pages Donnie Kirkpatrick has gotten through on the ECU playbook. Because I swear that man thinks there's only 2 in there. So
8.5 at best.
I will say, Biff Poggi, he was upset with the offensive play calling in the Georgia State game. It felt like after that game, the world was burning. He was very upset, and he always says, hey, I hate to lose. So after a loss on the Friday night of a loss or Saturday night or whatever day you play, you're getting the raw, unfiltered me. But on Monday, Tuesday, when I'm able to kind of relax, watch the film, go over stuff, I'm a lot better. I'm more even-keeled. He was saying, he came in his introductory press conference. He made it sound easy. He said, this was funny. He said, we're going to run it down their throat. We're going to make them stack the box. And the second they stack the box, we're going to throw it over their head. And everyone, all the donors are like, whoa, this guy has the recipe. He has the blueprint. And it's so easy to say that, right? Until you actually have to go out there. And there was one game against Georgia State where Charlotte's trying to mix it up. They're trying new things. They're trying to be innovative on offense. And on the press game or the post-game press conference, he's saying, no, I hate that. We're going to go back to the way I want to play. We're going to go back to run. We're going to try to run it down your throat. But the thing is, Charlotte doesn't have the capable offensive linemen to be able to execute that type of game plan. And you can't just say you're going to run when you have a true freshman in the backfield or you have guys that are mixing and matching for the offensive line. He wants to limit the menu, but limiting the menu can't happen if you don't have the requisite pieces to be able to make that successful.
Now, Jim, let me ask you this real quick, because Charlotte does have something that ECU does not have, right? And that is a major metropolitan area in Charlotte. It's a big city, right? So do you think Coach Biff and staff can actually pull together some of the plethora of talent that's in Charlotte, and not just Charlotte, but that South Carolina area too, because South Carolina is right next door. So, like, do you think he can actually capitalize on that in the next few years?
I do. And it goes back to what I said earlier with Biff's ability to garner relationships, his ability to – he has a lot of good connections with Charlotte. As we all know, it's a big banking, accounting city. He's really said – he put his foot down and saying, we need NIL money. We're going to get it. I know we are. I'm confident we are going to get it. Talking about that talent, man, Biff – he has a good track record. He was at Maryland. He was at St. Francis Academy. A lot of the players that transferred to Charlotte are from St. Francis Academy, and they transferred because of Biff, because they want to go to bat for this guy. They want to fight for this guy. He's been going to high schools recently and going on the recruiting trail, and I think that part is actually, like you said, it's promising. I think it is promising. His ability to be able to garner those relationships and cultivate relationships. In the future, it's going to work, but it's all going to come down to NIL. I mean, that's the current space that we're working with. And if you don't embrace it, I mean, you're going to get left behind.
For sure. Now, Jeremy, this will be the last question I have for you. Both offenses seem anemic. Seems like the strength is definitely the defense on both sides of the field. One thing that stands out to me is if you look at like the team stats as like total yards on offense, yards passing, average per game. I mean, Charlotte 170.2, ECU 173.2, yards rushing, Charlotte 133.5, ECU 128.7. Yards allowed. Now, granted, Charlotte has allowed a few more yards, but when you look at like pass yards allowed, Charlotte 220.5, ECU 221.3. Like, come on. These are the same teams.
Yeah, I mean, beginning of the season, even though Charlotte was losing, and I know you can't really say it was like a good loss, that cliche type of term, but it was. I mean, you're going into Maryland on your first national televised game on NBC, and you're up 14-0 on Maryland. Your freshman cornerback and Cameron Howard is picking off Talia Tagovailoa. Demetrius Knight is getting a pick six early in the game, and that's also going back to Greg Froelich and his special teams. Stone Handy comes barreling down the field on a kick or a punt and just lays out the Maryland guy, and they get favorable position or they pin Maryland early, and then you're able to have that complementary football where your defense can capitalize off of what the special teams did. And your offense then has more confidence because you're not playing from behind. You're not stressing, okay, we have to throw the ball. We have to put it in Jalen Jones' hands to throw the ball. It's all about complementary football. They go into UF, like I said, they're down 10-0. That swamp is raucous. The swamp is rocking. And Jalen Jones is going out there and rushing for 45 yards or scrambling for 45 yards and quieting the crowd. I don't know what happened between then and now where the offense has become this anemic. It's dumbfounding, and it's truly – I'm at a loss for words because going in, we knew preseason practice, the defense was winning every day. So we knew the offense wasn't going to be where the defense was, but no one knew it was going to be this bad.
Yeah. With all that, with this offense, I want to get to the question that I didn't even ask. I said all that. I was thinking it, and then I saw that, and I was like, that's insane. All right, here's the question. The over-under. Vegas, what is Vegas doing?
What are they doing, right?
The over-under is 40.5.
Dude, oh my Lord. I don't know the forecast for this game. Do you know it?
I think there's a slight chance of rain.
Okay.
I haven't. That was when I looked last week. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'll pull it up.
This could absolutely be one of those 9-9 football games going overtime.
No, this is
absolutely be that.
I mean, come game time, come kickoff, it's supposed to be 65, 67, sunny. Okay. It's gonna be a nice day out there in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. The fans are gonna be pretty lubed up on homecoming night. But what would you? All right, let's play Vegas for a second.
What would I make the line?
What would you put the over under at?
Yeah, This is crazy because my over-under is going to shock a lot of people. My over-under, honestly, would be 22.5, which is wild to say. And 40.5 is low for college football.
Normal, competent offensive teams. Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying this, and it's crazy, is because the Navy Charlotte over-under was 43.5. 43. And Hunter and I are looking at each other like, these teams are both ground and pound teams. They don't like to air it out. How is it going to be a 20 to 20 something game? There's no way. And that under hit beautifully. If you had the under, you were sitting back. And if you were the under in the first quarter, you were on Amazon Prime looking at what you wanted to spend that money on already, knowing that it was going to cash.
I'm gonna say this here. My lock of the week, the under. Take the under.
The ECU Charlotte.
That's under.
But you know how Vegas is, man. The second you think something, they're gonna give you something else.
Man, what are they seeing?
Yeah.
Unless
no, look, we sit here and say this, it's gonna be 38-35 final, right?
Exactly.
Hey, maybe we just need the reverse jinx.
But that's what I'm saying. I can't speak for ECU, but for Charlotte, the wide receivers, they don't have that guy. Last year they had Elijah Spencer. They had who's now at Minnesota. They had Grant Dubose, who's now in the NFL. They don't have those guys anymore. Jack Estera, Jairus Mack, Jaden Bradley hasn't seen the field a lot. Now, he's had some off-the-field issues, some personal family issues that I completely understand that. I want to give him his privacy and respect. But for the wide receivers and the receiving room, if it's not Colin Weber on a tight end screen, I don't know who's going to be giving you consistent separation on that field.
I mean, ECU, the only guy that has really done it is Chase Soule. I mean, he's been the only guy that has seemed to put together anything on as a wide receiver. I mean, you got Shane Calhoun, the tight end, who I feel like Donnie Kirkpatrick and the coaching staff forgets that he even exists for the first 2.5 quarters of a game. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we got to get Shane Calhoun the ball, 3 straight passes and their completions. And then they don't pass it to him the rest of the game. I mean, that's overall, that's what I see. So it seems like these two teams it's going to be – somebody clip this and send it to Sickos Committee because this game is going to be absolutely sick.
I'm wondering if defensive coordinator Ryan Osborne is telling his team, hey, guys, we know we're up against – we know our offense isn't going to be that great. We know maybe they give us 10 points. Maybe they give us 14. When you get into the backfield, don't just try and tackle or get the sack. Try and get that ball out.
Yeah.
Because if we don't force turnovers and make that field short for us and at least put us in field goal range, worst case scenario off of a strip sack, if that's not happening, I don't see the offense going on a 75, 65, 80-yard drive to put some points on the board.
All I know is
– going to be saying the same thing for ECU. It's got to be turnovers.
All I know is Joey Perry, the groundskeeper at ECU, is going to have to his work cut out for him, making sure that 50-yard line is looking good after this week. Jeremy, go ahead and tell everybody where they can follow you and find your content.
Yeah, you can find me at Jeremy Grandiso1 on Twitter. That's GRANDISO, the number 1. I'm also on the Highway 49 podcast. You can catch me in my articles and stories on SB Nation, more specifically Underdog Dynasty. I really want to shout out the Boneyard Podcast. You guys have been great. This is one of the most entertaining pods I've been on, too. You guys are hilarious. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, man.
The pleasure's all ours. Thank you. Jeremy, I'll see you Saturday. How's that?
Absolutely, man. I'll be looking out for y'all.
All right. Sounds good. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Once again, that was Jeremy Grandison, Highway 49 podcast. Artie, this game's going to be a shit show.
This game is going to be something, man.
Like, I'm excited to go.
No,
just because I do feel like there is a good possibility that ECU wins. Like, I'm not saying that we are, but I feel pretty confident.
If you like defensive fireworks, though, this really could be your game. Like, you could see 2 or 3 touchdowns.
This is the Iowa Bowl.
Defenses. right? Like you can see a pick six, you can see a fumble recovery for a defense, you can see interception return back to maybe the 5-2 yard line and set the offense up real good. Like if you like defensive showcases, this could be your game.
I mean, this is an Iowa fan's wet dream.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move along.
Let's do it.
Let's move along. Do we I think we got some Twitter questions. Let me pull them up. All right. Let's see here. Okay. We got a couple. Chance. What's up, Chance?
No chance.
Former intern. At what point do we just play Mason and let Jeter be the number 2? I don't think Flynn is the answer for next year. If Mason doesn't show progress, we hit the portal. We hit the portal no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
This is a disaster. Neither one of these guys should be starting next year. Neither one.
I mean, we heard everybody talk about moving Holton Ahlers to tight end. Hey, maybe let's put Mason Garcia at tight end.
Hey, look, Mason is an excellent athlete. I mean, we can absolutely utilize him. But at the quarterback position, we have to be completely honest. I don't see it. So yeah, we're hitting the portal no matter what. And we definitely got to with Jeter, Jeter might be QB1 next year. So wasn't expecting it that quick, but he might be QB1 next year.
All right, let's see. PD asks if we finish 1-11, will ECU find a way to fire Mike Houston? I don't know. ECU has, I believe, his buyout's like $4 million after this year.
Jeez.
ECU's got 4 million reasons to keep him, but there's one big fat reason to let him go if ECU goes 1-11, with your sole win being against Gardner Webb.
Well, look, we got Charlotte this weekend. Obviously, that should be a winnable game. All right. You got UTSA, who's not as great as we would think they would be this year, but still Tulane, you could chalk that up as an L. Florida Atlantic, probably chalk that up as an L. And then you finish with Navy and Tulsa, right? So it's like to finish 1-11, I still don't see that. I still see 2 wins, maybe 3, maybe. But I still see 2 wins left on the schedule. But you finish 1-11, man. You got it. You have to. I know you said 4 million reasons not to fire the guy, but you got to at least consider it. You have to at least seriously consider it.
Artie, we put out a tweet. I believe it was. I think it was on Thursday night last week, or maybe it was Saturday of last week. I don't know. Over under. ECU wins 1.5 games the rest of the year. If over, reply below who ECU beats. 42% said over. 58% said under. 58% of the people that responded, which is statistically significant. There's 450 people that answered, said that ECU was only winning 1 game or less the rest of the season.
Look, we're not gonna finish 1-11. We're not gonna finish 1-11. I think we'll pull something together. Now, look, I will say this though, full transparency. If Houston and staff decide to keep Donnie Kirkpatrick after this season, that will be the reason why they all get fired. I promise you right now, if a change is not made at the offensive coordinator position after this season, that entire staff will be gone within 2 years. Every single one.
If Donnie Kirkpatrick is still the offensive coordinator going into next season, ECU fans better be storming the gates of the athletic complex, pitchforks in hand,
because
fires burning.
That is a clear indication that you're not putting this program first. You're not looking out for the best interest of this program.
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. ECU's got the number 2 recruiting class in the conference, but it doesn't matter if you got somebody eating M&Ms the entire game, calling plays, and their fingers are smudging up the playbook. Maybe that's why you can't call more than a run up the middle. All right. State of Atlanta asks, what's it going to take to get the Pirates in the Sun Belt?
We keep losing like this, we'll be there soon.
I was about to say we have a couple
We'll be there
more
soon.
1-11 seasons. We'll be right
Hey,
there
that's
where
what
we
we
belong in the
like,
Sun
nah, we good.
All right, that's it. That's it for Twitter questions. All right, let's move along, Artie. Let's start wrapping this thing up. We've been going for about an hour now.
Let's do it.
All right, Artie, walk the plank. Do you got one?
Yeah, you know I walk the plank, man.
I mean,
you know,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I know. I get the rules. I get that it needs to be changed. It absolutely you can't have that first round matchup. But the Atlanta Braves, man, 104 wins, Jared. 104. I get the matchup was not what it should have been, and I get that they had not played in a week, and you're a little rusty. Phillies in playoff mode. I get all that, but bro, 104 wins, all the home runs. You guys got y'all got thoroughbreds in Atlanta. There's just no excuse. Y'all got straight dudes. There's no way you guys should have been bounced out in the DS. It just should not have happened.
Yeah, it's rough. It's real rough.
That's what I want to play. And I'm disappointed in Atlanta. I am. I would have liked to have seen Atlanta run it back and try to put together another World Series or another World Series run. But yeah.
Hey, the core is there. That's not changing. Find you a left fielder, find you a shortstop, bolster the rotation, and you're okay. But MLB's got to figure.
I will say that's one sport where momentum in baseball might be the biggest thing in any sport. I mean, once them bats get hot, once you catch momentum in baseball, you can really ride that shit to a championship. So.
And that's what we're seeing. I mean, the top 5 teams as far as records go in the regular season were all out in or before the division series.
I mean, where the hell did the Diamondbacks come from? Jesus.
I don't know. I was watching the Diamondbacks play just about a month ago when I was in Chicago, Chi-Town.
The old Cubbies.
Cubbies. All right, mine. I mean, I don't really have one other than the Mike Houston calling a punt on 4th and 6 with 6 minutes left. That's some bullshit. That is some Charmin ultra soft bullshit.
Hey, look, Jared, really good game plan. Really proud of the effort. Put in a good week of practice this week. Got a good opponent. Gonna come out. Gonna be ready. Looking forward to it.
You got to do the arm. He always has the arm. You know, another walk the plank, and I don't know if she's listening, but friend of the podcast, Courtney Layton, her phone going off in the post-game press conference.
Oh no, rookie mistake. Oh no. Come on, Courtney. You Courtney really probably did. She more media than we are. All right, she really doing it. Come on, Courtney. I mean,
she had the big ass camera out there, and oh my gosh,
low-key famous. Come on
now. Courtney, good friend. I talked to Courtney. We're gonna have her back on next month, Epilepsy Awareness Month. That's not the only reason we have her on. Courtney is a true friend of the podcast.
Facts.
Like Courtney is always asking me about. We're always talking about the Canes and Braves, and I mean Courtney's a friend. She is a legit friend of the podcast, and we don't say that like lightly. When we say somebody's a friend of the podcast, we mean they're a friend of the podcast. Otherwise, we tell you to walk the damn plank. All right. All right. Artie. Let's wrap this damn thing up. All right. Let's see. We got the gambling corner.
Gambling corner.
These lines and spreads are brought to you by the Caesar Sportsbook. We're not. Hey, this isn't an advertisement. We're not sponsored by them. But this is where we're getting our information. So if you want to match what we're doing, go there and find it out. First game on the docket. Southern rivalry renewed.
Yeah.
The battle of the bones. Who makes the best ribs? Who will come out on top? UAB's season is slipping week by week, and Memphis is looking to rebound after a hard-fought game against Tulane. Can the Blazers defend home turf? UAB's plus 6.5, over under 62. Memphis. Give me Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis.
Give me Memphis. Memphis is going to win this game outright. Look, Trent Dilfer out here arguing with his coaching staff on the sidelines. I mean, he out here just having tirades on the sideline. UAB can't get nothing right now. So, yeah, give me Memphis.
Yeah, give me Memphis. Take the over. I mean,
yeah, I think a lot of points will be scored in this game. Take the over.
This is gonna be a fun one to watch. All right, Clemson at Miami. Clemson's not having the year they thought they were gonna have. Miami was undefeated until their coach couldn't call a kneel to seal a game. This game will show if Clemson was a good competitor against the UNC team that just beat Miami. Miami's plus 3. Plus 3, 3-point dog at home. Over under 48.5. This is a tough one. I really want to say Miami.
I honestly don't think it's that tough, man. I think Miami got exposed. I think they're fraudulent like they've been the last decade, and Clemson is a better team. Clemson's going to win. Take the over, but Clemson's going to win this game by more than 10 points, in my opinion. I think Clemson comes out and shows this will be an old school Clemson game that Deshaun Watson type Clemson team. I think they'll come out and prove a point. Because again, I just think Miami doesn't have home field advantage. It doesn't matter that Miami's home. They're gonna have 10,000 fans there. It doesn't matter. So there's no home field advantage for them.
It'll look like a UNC Charlotte game out there. UNC Charlotte home game, that is.
I mean, we can't say too much now as of late.
I mean, there's still more fans there than and a lot of the some other teams in the States games. All right. Artie, it's the third Saturday in October.
Yes, sir.
It is here. One of the great rivalries. The third Saturday in October is here. And so is the game that occurs every time it rolls around. The SEC matchup has the potential of being the game of the week for a plethora of reasons. You like that word, Artie?
Yes.
Plethora.
Yes.
Tennessee can put the dagger in Alabama's season. An Alabama win could mean Tennessee has a lot of things left to work on. Bama's a 9.5-point favorite in Tuscaloosa. Over under 48. Roll Tide roll.
Good old Rocky Top.
Woo!
Rocky
Top, Tennessee.
Nah, Alabama's gonna win.
Yeah, no.
It's in Tuscaloosa, and I think Tennessee might be the better team, but it's not being played in Knoxville, and I think that's going to be the difference. It's being played in Bryant-Denny. You're going to have 100,000 plus. Nick Saban's going to have his team ready for this game, and I think that their quarterback, who's been playing kind of inconsistent, but he's getting a little better for Alabama. I think he's going to come out and have a day. This will be one of the matchups of the week. This game's going to be excellent. But give me Alabama.
Hey Josh, do you know? Does anyone know what time? Is this a 3:30 game on CBS?
Oh, it has to be. Yeah, I feel like this is going to have a slot by itself at 3:30.
This has to be the 3:30 game, right?
Yeah. And this will probably be the best game going on at 3:30. It'll be by itself.
Josh is giving us the thumbs up. It is the 3:30 game. All right. All right. Pittsburgh at Wake Forest. Right down the road.
Right down the road, baby.
5 minutes from where Artie and I live.
Yeah.
The fight for the fall off. The ACC has new blood at the top, but the programs that were looking to take the next step have really fallen off this year. Wake Forest is last in the ACC, but is the home favorite against Pitt. Can Wake get back on the horse, get 3 more wins to make a bowl? Wake Forest is a 1-point favorite at home here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This game might be as bad as the UNC Charlotte at ECU game.
Nah, there'll be some more offense than that.
There'll be more offense, but I don't know, man. This game, I don't know.
Hey, look, I'll say this. Pitt's coming off a huge win against undefeated Louisville. I'm so disappointed in Louisville after beating Notre Dame at home. I really thought that they could be the Cinderella. They shit the bed. But I think Pitt's going to ride that momentum, ride that wave. I think they come into Winston-Salem. I think they go into Wake Forest. They might have more fans than Wake Forest does, and I think they win this game.
Yeah, they most definitely have more fans than Wake Forest does.
Well, I'm talking about actually in the stadium. Like, they'll have more Pitt fans in the stadium than Wake Forest fans.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Nobody here in Winston-Salem gives a shit about Wake Forest football, really, or basketball.
And it's WSSU homecoming this weekend too, so ain't nobody going to that game.
Artie, I don't really necessarily think that they're the same demographics. Just people going to Wake fans and Winston-Salem State fans. I don't know if there's much of an intermingle there.
I know they're different, but I'm just saying the city's going to be more wrapped up in WSSU than they will in Wake Forest.
Shout out, go Rams. Let's see. I want to look at something real quick. Wake Forest schedule. All right. Ooh. That game next weekend is going to be a fun one.
What they got left?
All right, Artie, here it is. Wake wins. Pittsburgh. They're coming off a big win against Louisville. They got Notre Dame next week. This is a trap game at Wake. Look, as much of a trap game as it can be when you're sitting at, 2-4? Give me Wake Forest at home to beat Pittsburgh. I just think this is a trap game. You go, I mean, you got Pittsburgh coming off with, like I said, a huge win.
Yeah.
Then going on the road. And a week before they have to go on the road again to Notre Dame. And 2 weeks before they play at home against Florida State.
Is this Pitt or Wake Forest schedule?
This is Pitt's schedule.
Oh, now I have even more confidence that they're going to win this game.
Really?
They're gonna come in here because they know they got Notre Dame and Florida State coming up. They're gonna be like, look, we got to get a dub. they know what's on their schedule coming up.
Now
they're not going into no raucous environment either. They're gonna have an easy time with play calls and all that.
I will say Wake has a tough schedule coming up too. They play Pitt this weekend, Florida State at home next weekend, at Duke the following weekend, and then they play the Puppies on Veterans Day weekend. So
yeah, they're not making a bowl game.
No. They beat NC State though. They'll beat NC State. All right. Next. What do we got? ECU. No quarter.
Homecoming, baby. It's homecoming.
Do my best Scott Van Pelt impression. ECU, 6.5-point favorites at home. It is homecoming. Over under 40.5. Artie, you take it away.
Hey, look. Like we said earlier, the lock of the week. Please, for the love of God, take the under. Take the under, and then take the under. We not getting the 40.5. That ain't happening. It's not going to happen. ECU favored by 6.5. This is going to be one of those slugfest, old school, rock'em sock'em. This is going to be ugly. And it's a toss-up, but it's homecoming. Like you said, I think the fans are going to be nice and lubricated. However many we get, they're going to say that we sold 35,000 to 40,000 tickets. Ain't going to be that many people in the stadium, though. But again, it's homecoming. I think we got the throwback unis this weekend, so we're going to be out there looking fresh. Obviously, give me ECU. I know we're 1-5. I know this might come back to bite me in the ass, and we'll be sitting at 1-6 next week talking about the same shit. But give me ECU at home for homecoming. I think they ride it out. It's going to be an ugly win, but they get the win.
Two evenly matched teams. I think ECU gets the win. Josh.
Shout out Josh for me.
Josh, make sure that this gets up on our social media channels when we post the links to this. If you're not watching on YouTube, it's ECU and Charlotte, and it's the Spider-Man meme because they are the same team. But ECU, they figure it out this week. Something clicks on offense. Finally, something clicks on offense. And I think that they pick up some momentum going into the back half of the year. ECU's been in all these games all year long. They've been in every single game all year long outside of the Michigan game.
Yeah.
Every game they've been in the fourth quarter with a chance to either come back and win or a chance to salt the other team away. They were leading in the fourth quarter against Marshall and App State.
Yep.
Figure out how to win in the fourth quarter. The boys bring it home. Take it to the bank. ECU covers, and so does the under hits. So take that to the bank. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Go damn Pirates. That's all I got, Artie. That's all I got. It's homecoming. Get loud, Pirate Nation. It is homecoming. All right. Get loud. Hey, cook a pig.
Yes.
Throw back a beer. Let me know where you're at. I'll be there. Let me know. Let us know where you're at. God, I'm ready, Artie. Saturday can't come soon enough. So that's the problem being an ECU fan. Every week, I get so fired up. This is going to be the week. We're going to bust through. Something's going to change. Mason Garcia, Alex Flynn, Donnie Kirkpatrick, they're going to all pull their heads out of their asses collectively. And then we just don't. We shit the bed.
Hey, look, at this point in the season, the mindset has changed. At least for the ECU fan, the mindset should have changed, right? We're not looking towards Cinderella or even a bowl game at this point. Let's look at some positives going into next season. That's just how you gotta look at it. We gotta start getting some things going piece by piece, positives going into next year. This year's a mulligan. Get it in your head. We're not doing nothing special this year. It ain't gonna happen. We're not reeling off 6 with straight wins or whatever, 5, 6 straight wins to get to a bowl game. It's not gonna happen. So positives going into next year. ECU's gonna turn around and get the job done this weekend. Josh has put in the chat. ECU soccer coach Gary Higgins got his 100th win. So shout out to that. But that's all I got.
For another podcast, right? We had Gary Higgins on.
I know we had the golf coach on.
No, we had Gary Higgins on way back in the day.
Yeah, this had to be years ago. This had to be like 2 years ago.
This was Gary Higgins, friend of the podcast. All right.
That might have been before me and Ashley got together. That was a minute.
I don't know. All right. Make sure to subscribe to VSN on YouTube, on Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, subscribe to us. Leave us a review. Search us at Boneyard Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure that you are getting all of our notifications. Do that. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. 5 stars, you're a friend of the podcast for life.
That's
1 star, you can walk the damn plank right on down to Charlotte. Okay, that's all I got. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a review. Let's get out of here, Artie. Go damn Pirates.
Hey, as always, Pirate Nation, we love you. Wash your hands, wash your butts, you filthy animals. We'll see you this weekend. Deuce.
Peace.